All right. I stole the show from Ray today. I'm the host. And we're going to talk about
He
the
was
stimulus
hating on my
package.
ratings. So
And
let's
we're
go.
going to talk about the stimulus package. All right. Particularly how it's pretty much just a giveaway for the rich and how everyone is getting screwed, especially as this is the third package. You have anything to say about that, Ray? Or do you want us to just go right into it?
Let's get right into it. I think we most of us know what happened with the first one.
Yeah.
Was the first one, right? And then we have a
This,
second one coming up, supposedly.
so the one with the 1200 is actually the third one.
The third one?
It's the third
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So on this is the CNN. This is gonna be essentially what's in the package. All right. So everyone knows you get $1,200. People been talking about that the whole time. That's the only thing the average American gets. You get 1,200 if you're single and make below, what was it, 75, and
Yeah,
then
yeah. If you made 75,000 or less.
you get 1,200, and then
Yeah.
above that, up to 99,000, you get zero. So
You get
after,
less.
you get $100 less for each thousand. So if you pass 99, you get zero. 198,000 if you're married, you get zero after that. Student loan payments are suspended along with the interest payment. So for 3 months, it's suspended. The real ID deadline delayed. I'm not getting into that. Unemployment benefits are getting a boost. You get unemployment, and then if the employer has payroll, then they're getting money to keep you on the payroll even though you're not working, which is good. 500 billion lending program, which is the main issue we're going to talk about. Trump businesses can't get money. Another issue we're going to talk about. No money for the border walls. Airlines. Another issue to talk about. Hospital gets billions. Sounds good on paper. Again, we're going to talk about it. So Ray, how do you feel about this so far?
Well, basically, I think the main argument a lot of people were saying online was that most of us, like, progressives voted for this bill for the sake of bringing some kind of supporting, some kind of economic aid to those people who are losing their jobs. About what 3.5 million has 3.5 million people have already subscribed or submitted an application for unemployment, right?
Right.
And obviously, most of the progressives were in the middle of should I vote for this bill, knowing damn well that is mostly full of shit because most of the help goes to the top instead of the bottom. People who really need it.
Right.
And a lot of progressives like Bernie Sanders like just make the bill a little bit better in in sense of a little bit more economic help for people.
Right.
And that's what Bernie Sanders did. He guaranteed 100% on the payout for people who apply for unemployment, plus another $600 on top.
Right.
Right.
So when it comes to the dividend payments, right? Like say you get 1,200, 24 if you're married. Do you think that's gonna be enough?
No, a one-time payment of that. Obviously, a lot of people were like, "Oh no, a UVI, right?" That's why at the beginning we covered when we said, "Oh, a UVI, people are gonna get at least $1,000 a month, which is okay, not bad, not great, but
Like,
$1,000 every month, okay, whatever."
right.
But these people, the Republicans, like, "Hey, no, we're not gonna give them $1,000 every month. We're gonna give him one payment only. So make your minds up about how much you want to give him because that's all we're gonna give him."
Right. Not only that, but it's $1,200. I live in LA. You live in LA. People live in New York. Some people live
Yeah,
in Chicago. A lot of these bigger cities have very expensive rent. San Francisco, for example, right? If you have $200, that means nothing. That's probably paying like maybe a half of your rent, maybe, and then it's done. Like, and I don't know if you saw earlier this week, Steve Mnuchin went out on TV on national TV, and he said that the stimulus check can last a month. You can live the average family or average person can live on $17 a day,
yeah.
which is a joke. Because, like I said, once you pay rent with it, it's pretty much gone, like zero. If you're in a big city, maybe if you're in a smaller state like Alabama or Mississippi or Idaho or something like that, maybe it will last you a couple months. Maybe your rent is $400 or $500. But if you live in a city, it's not gonna be that much. It's gonna be way more. And also, so it's means tested as well. So they crunch the number. They say how much is barely enough to make sure people spend barely the max before it drops the curve, it drops efficiency to boost the economy and get the stock market up. Because that's what this is about. It's about getting the stock market up.
Yeah.
And so that's the depressing part about it. You see in Canada, $2,000 a family. And then on top of that, you see some countries getting rid of rent payments altogether, bill payments altogether, just to make sure that the economy doesn't collapse, just try to freeze everything in place. In the United States, all we could give people that they care about so much, so when you vote for them, they'll talk about you caring about them so much, about caring about you so much, is $1,200. And that's sad.
Yeah, it's the biggest BS or bullshit in the world that obviously countries like most Canadians are getting $8,000 in 4 months, and we only getting one check out to $100, which, as you previously stated, that is not going to cover most of the cost of rent or even cost of living, and as it's a total because most of us are beginning to just accept this as our reality. It's like, oh my god, this is what we had to. I guess what $1,200 is what we deserve, and most people are just saying, oh, whatever, just give it the $1,200 so we can survive for now.
Right, because
And
it's a desperate thing because it's just like if you say go back to the drawing board, that's one more day you have to go without eating, one more day you have to go without your kids eating, one more day you have to go without food, and that's a hard thing to tell people to do. Hey, don't give me any money right now so I can suffer for the next 2 weeks and then pass the bill. That's amazing, and that's why you saw it had was it 98-0 vote and in the
yeah,
Senate because it was
yeah,
essentially whoever held it up, they would have gone on news. The opposition
yeah,
would have gone on TV and they would have said, "Hey, this guy, he doesn't want you to get money. He doesn't want you to help.
mm,
He doesn't
yeah,
want you to get help." And so it
yeah,
would have crucified anyone. That's why I
yeah,
had it was 96-0 actually.
yeah. I think this is because I think Republicans were able to get away with this kind of strategy because the Democrats are so divided right now
Right,
based on the fact that obviously it's a huge philosophical fight in the Democratic Party alone,
right,
where they got the establishment Democrats saying no, we want to continue the same old business, and obviously we got the new upcoming youngins like ourselves saying no, we gotta represent more than just the halfway measures or the kind of BS policies that you guys throw out there, so people could just vote for it
right.
for the sake of party unity. You get me? And we are tired because it's us that we get screwed every 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I
I
said, you
mean,
just take a look at it. I mean, 1,200 per person, and yet you have companies getting way more than that. You have specific companies, and so we're gonna just gotta talk about the other pensions that they gave to people, and that is what student loan payments suspended. So the student loan payments are suspended, and there's no interest on them anymore either. Not gonna build on it for a while anyway. But doesn't mean anything. It's like I said, it's like the bill thing. The bill is still due. It's just that it's they can't really take action against you right now. It's for it. So all the problems and going back to that $1,200 discussion that we just had. Once once the bill comes due, all the money that they get because Americans are so heavy in debt are just going to go towards debt. So it's not even going to boost anything. It's just going to go to fill in the hole that people are already in.
yeah,
So once you get the 1,200, which is barely anything to begin with, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that everyone already went negative. Now they're gonna have to use that money to try to go positive, and I don't think it's gonna be good enough. I mean, you had was it Rick Scott from Florida, senator from Florida? He was complaining that, and Lindsey Graham as well was complaining that if you give people $1,200, they won't want to work anymore. It's too much money, and it really showed you how much they're trying to clamp down on average everyday people. But you never hear that argument for businesses saying, "Well, if we give them money, they're not going to want to innovate anymore. They're not going to want to do any of that stuff. They're not going to want to hire people." You never hear that. But as
yeah,
soon as this average person is, "Oh, they're not going to do X, they're not going to do Y."
Yeah, even though even this bill excludes most students because they're
Right.
either dependent from their parents or they don't have done their their taxes on
Right.
2019 or 2020.
And on top of
Uh,
that, it's this program is only for loans held by the Department of Education. So if you have private loans from banks, it doesn't count. So you still have to pay those, which sucks.
yeah,
It's just crazy. Like it's just not enough.
it obviously this bill is just meant to put pressure on people and for us to at certain point. I think it's gonna be in November where the general comes in. We're pressured to make maybe a rapid decision based on who we want to vote for. But a lot of things are going on in this country and all around the world, especially with the pandemic on top of us.
Right.
That if we still don't know what the fuck is going on, like most of us will just say, "Hey, dude, if you put someone like Joe Biden to go against someone Trump, based on all the following things that have come up for Joe Biden in general, it's become based on our assumptions to say Trump is gonna destroy them, right?
Right.
But with all the things that Donald Trump is doing, that is right now is going very negative in his favor.
Right.
I don't know what the outcome's gonna be because
I mean,
he lit.
I think
Uh-huh.
it's worked in his favor. To be honest, he started beating Trump in the polls. I don't know how much that counts for because Hillary Clinton was beating Trump in the polls, and they said he was pretty much people look to him over Trump because Trump is, to be honest, making it a lot worse. A lot of these governors of these states are making it worse. Oh, like I said, we already surpassed China in terms of deaths and in terms of infected. People estimate 1 million people going to be infected with it, and about 200,000 may die from it
If we stay inside,
if we don't stay inside. But the thing is, people already estimate that the damage is done. The hospitals don't really have the equipment, and Trump is not really trying to get it to them. Or he's trying now, but it's kind of a sad attempt. The only sad part about it is that this might be one of those times where another one of those times where something crazy happens, and then people just kind of forget about it. I mean,
I
because it's like all this stuff is happening right now. It really should show you your government doesn't care about you. It should show you that
no,
there's an issue here.
at least
That
with the current administration,
right, and I think this comes down to those issues as well, where it's just like instead of instead of voting for the person who cares and will actually help you, people vote for things that are trivial like electability. Like that's what happened with Joe Biden. Like you had a poll and one poll, it said that voters, likely voters, so people who are usually elderly, because they're likely voters or the most likely voters. They said, "Hey, who do you trust on the issues?" Bernie Sanders won all of them, and yet he didn't get votes, which makes no sense. Because instead of people are trying to play this, they're trying to see politics as a game. It's not really that serious. It's just go out there, vote for the person you like. Like, don't think about who can beat Trump. Or that's not gonna work out for anybody. And I think you see that right now because Biden he's getting close to the margin. If you look at they did a poll having to do with people who what candidate people are more excited for, and Donald Republicans voted for Donald Trump are way more excited to vote for Donald Trump than Democrats are to vote for Biden. So that's a huge red flag. He's actually doing worse than Hillary Clinton
yeah.
in the polls,
It's a 24%
which is
excitement.
god terrible. I
Yeah,
mean,
Hillary Clinton had like 43 or something.
right, and everyone hated Hillary Clinton. So
Yeah,
the fact that you're worse than her is like that was a huge mistake. A lot of people are feeling that maybe they made a mistake, especially now because like here you have a pandemic, and it's just like you see progressives taking a victory lap because it's like now socialism isn't too bad, is it?
yeah,
It's not. It's at first we were crazy, but now it's not too bad, is it? Because it really
yeah.
shows you like the social safety net when shit really hits the fan, you either gonna do it or you're not. And so if you want to continue to have this fight every time something happened, oh, Katrina happened. I hope we get money for it. Pandemic. I hope we get money for it. Instead of just handle it, just have the system in place to handle it. But you see it, and so I mean, Will it change anyone? I hope so. But to be honest, I don't think so.
Yeah, especially with the kind of socialistic programs, not programs, but the kind of money they gave to the fucking ultra rich or the private sector
Right.
with no strings attached, with nothing of employee benefits or sick leave or mandatory increasement of minimum wage.
Yeah.
Nothing for the taxpayer who recently just gave trillions of dollars to the private sector so they could be bailed out.
Right.
Like airline industry, the fucking what's it called, the the
Boeing.
boat? No,
Boeing.
no, no. Yeah, but that's an airline industry, right? But I'm just saying, what's the other industry that is they bail out? Was the
Hospitality.
no? It wasn't the hospital. It was the boats? Like people were going to the cruise industry.
Oh, okay.
Even right now, I think Mitch McConnell is saying, "Oh, yeah, we're just planning to get another stimulus package going on
Right.
around
Right.
probably May or something, and there we're gonna try to bail out the cruise industry that we're not able to get any benefits whatsoever." They're talking about the cruise industry that is not even from the United States; it's just foreign cruise industries that decided to do their taxes in another country so they could pay less taxes,
Right.
and now they're asking for a fucking bailout.
From the
I was
U.S.
like,
government.
you don't pay taxes here. Why do you want a bailout
Right.
for?
Why should we help you if you don't even pay
Yeah,
taxes?
you don't pay taxes. And I was like, oh, but bail me out, bro. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Mitch McConnell was like, don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the saddest part about it. So also the other part of it is that Trump gets nothing. We're gonna talk about that and airlines, airport. The airline and airports really pissed me off. Because they were literally on TV saying, "Hey, if you're gonna ask for any part of our company, we don't need the money. We're not gonna take the money." So they're clearly not in trouble as much as they want to pretend they are. At the same time, they're advocating for stock buybacks. They're giving their CEOs and their executives ridiculous bonuses. And at the same time, they say, "Hey, we need this bailout money. If you don't give us this bailout money, we're gonna have to fire everyone." But then, if you ask for a stake in a company, we're not gonna take the money. So it's ridiculous. Like it's completely
Yeah, they got
crazy,
money to bail out themselves.
right? And
They got everything.
it really shows you how criminal some of these things are. Another story to add on to this was that the reason why there's a shortage of ventilators is, I don't know if you heard the story today. Maybe we should cover the video, but I'll talk about it here anyway. The reason why we have a shortage of ventilators is because the government paid. We're trying to get ventilators a few years ago, and they gave a contract to to whoever, a grant I should say, to any company that can make them cheaper. Because they were $10,000 at the time, they're $10,000 now. And this company found out a way to make them super cheap for like $1,000 a
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah.
Well, the company that made the ventilators originally, they bought that company and shut down that project. So they bought the company that found out a way to make it cheaper, and they shut down the project. And then they continue to charge $10,000. So the reason why ventilators cost $10,000 now is because of
Well, it
capitalism.
actually cost 50,000.
Now, so they're boosting
Yes.
the prices.
Well, what happened was that it was currently at 20,000, but because they heard that there was a shortage, people needed them. They was like, oh, you wanted them, 40,000. And since Trump said, nah, we're good, and now that Trump is like, actually, let me get those ventilators. And I was like, okay, you want them now, 50 for each.
This is capitalism.
And
That's
that's
capitalism.
capitalism.
Oh, that's capitalism. That's what the people
Hmm.
always want. But remember, it's capitalism until they need a bailout, then socialism, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, yeah. The
Um,
social.
and so back to this other one that's gonna really piss you off. So Trump can't get any money from this. Okay, and let's say, why does that piss you off? Okay, why does that piss me off, right?
What?
Why does it piss me off that Trump businesses can't get money?
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, well, the reason why it pisses me off is because in order to make sure all this happens, they have an oversight committee. Okay,
Uh-huh.
well, oversight committee is probably going to be underfunded anyway, just like 2008. Is weak as hell. Like always, is weak. And so, literally, the day he signed the bill, Trump came out and said he'll ignore the oversight provisions in the stimulus bill. So the same day
Okay.
he signed it was the same day he said, "You know what? I don't even care. I'm gonna do whatever I want with the money. I'm not gonna. No one's gonna listen to it anyway." So even
Mhm.
though he has all these provisions, all these oversights, can't buy stocks back, can't give it to Trump, can't get a
Yeah.
border wall. And you have an oversight committee to make sure that none of this happens. It's going to be underfunded, so it's probably going to be super weak and unable to keep track of all the money in the first place. But then
Yeah.
on top of that, the president of the United States said, "Well, screw them anyway. F the oversight committee. They can see whatever the hell they want. We don't care. We're gonna buy it anyway." Like, and that's ridiculous. And it really shows you how corrupt these people are. Oh, and it's funny because you don't really see it on most mainstream outlets. Republicans obviously aren't talking about it. Democrats aren't talking about it. It's ridiculous. Like, this is the stuff that we need to talk about. Alongside the fact that when this bill was coming through, lobbyists came out in full to make sure they got as much as they could want in the bill because they knew this bill was going to be hard to kill.
Hmm.
So, how do you feel about that, Ray? How do you feel about this thing that
I
makes me
mean,
angry?
it's. I mean, what else can you expect from the Trump administration? They're giving out handouts to the ultra mega rich, to their friends, to a bunch of industries that don't even know that even need the bailout money. Of course, he's gonna get something, you know, out of this. Every single Republican lobbyist, Democratic lobbyist is like, bro, we getting money, we getting all the contracts we want to. And then Mitch McConnell is helping us out. And then Trump is like, what about me? I was like, bro, no one wants to give you money because you're the president of the United States. It's going to look bad. I was like, hell no, I'm going to find a way. You get me?
Yeah,
So,
let's just ignore the
eh,
law. That's
yeah, I
essentially
was
what it is. Just
like,
ignore the law.
and people are talking, with this whole pandemic going on, with the economy in the fucking toilet, who's going to worry? Because everyone's worrying about their own selves, trying to survive. No one's going to pay attention to what we're doing. Just like a couple of days back, we heard about these Republican senators knowing beforehand the the huge problem
Oh,
that
coronavirus.
coronavirus we're
Yeah.
gonna have, and what they did instead of telling the truth and everyone to get ready, and they, for them to do something about the situation before it got worse,
You went out
what
and
they did
lied.
first,
Yeah.
what did they lie, and then what they did?
And then, so they went out to the public, lied to everyone, said coronavirus wasn't a big deal, have no problem. And then in the background, sold millions of dollars worth of stock, sold millions of dollars on stuff that just happened to be get more, happened to change value based on the situation. They
Yeah,
invested in technology that helped telecommuting, that helped working from home, and they divested from hotels, airlines, stuff like that. So they got all their money out of the stuff that was going to collapse, and they put all their money in stuff that was going to go up. And while all at the time telling everyone, endangering millions of people, by the way, endangering the lives of millions of people, just told them, hey, it's not that serious. One of the reasons a lot of people to this day still don't stay inside when asked to, because they just believe it's not going to be anything.
yeah, and unfortunately, this is what and the situation we're in because of individuals only care about themselves
Of course.
and their own greed.
Corruption.
And you know what? That's the saddest thing. If these motherfuckers get coronavirus or the COVID-19 virus, more likely they won't survive
Yeah.
because some of them even have pre-existing conditions or
They're in that demographic. Like almost our entire government. The only person who's probably one of the few people who are actually sitting there chilling is probably like AOC, because she's likely to beat it.
yeah, she's
Almost,
likely, but
yeah,
we know that
yeah, yeah. It's not
some
guaranteed. You can
yeah,
still die if you're young. But
yeah,
the thing is, like, she's likely to beat it. She's in the odds to beat it, just like Ilhan Omar, all those people.
just like the
But
old young
most of the
Republicans.
squads, yeah, most of the squad, everyone who's under the age of 30, under the age of 40, are in the odds to beat it. Doesn't mean they are, but they most likely will.
Yeah,
Most of everyone else, which is I think like what 90% of our Congress, 90% of our Senate, they're like 60, 70 years old. They're actually in the thing not to beat it.
yeah,
So if they
because
have it, they're most likely to die from it.
but because they're rich and then entitled, they think they're good.
Oh,
You get me?
it's guaranteed. Like what's gonna happen is that because they're rich and they're a title, I guarantee you right now, their state is gonna buy ventilators. They're gonna skim some off the top, give it to their family, give it to their friends, chill in the back, and then while everyone else is dying, even if someone else is on the wait list first, even if younger people need it first, because younger people didn't live that long, they deserve to live that long, right? Even if you know all those people. need it more, or even if they've been on the waiting list first, right? The same thing I like to tell immigrants to get us, they will get in line, right? They're not gonna get in line. They're gonna skip to the front, right? And then they're gonna take it, and they're gonna have the nerve to tell everyone else that everyone else is bad.
Yeah. So guys, be happy with your $1,200. I think
Yeah,
you're gonna need them not just in the fact that you need them for rent or for food, but that's all you're gonna get from the government.
for a
Don't ask
month,
for more.
for a month.
And if you want more later on, they're gonna come and ask for more. They're
Oh,
like,
look,
"Oh, you want
for
another
sure.
check?"
Like
Well,
I guarantee you, they're gonna scam as little as possible. $1,200 now. If they give you a second check, if it doesn't have its effect, and it won't, and they give you a second check, you probably get like $600 next time. And they're gonna say, "Oh, we don't have the money. We don't have this."
yeah,
Blah
yeah,
blah.
that's what I
It's
was
like
gonna tell you. It was
always.
like, we're running out of money. What do you want?
Yeah,
Ventilators?
and then I guarantee you, right after this, what do you think is gonna happen? Oh, guys, well, all that money ain't free. We gotta cut Social Security.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
always, always,
that's what they're
yep,
gonna say later.
always,
Later,
yeah,
it's like, we
always.
gave you all that money. Now Social
Uh
Security
huh.
must be cut.
Yep.
There's no
Like
money.
you got the
We're in
money
a
early.
crisis.
What are you complaining about? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, all that like taxpayer. Once you pay your taxes,
Yeah.
because there's some people that we haven't paid taxes.
Yeah.
They move it till June. You're not gonna see those checks, that you get in return. It was like you already got them,
Right.
so stop asking.
Yep.
Right? Stop asking for scrums.
Yep.
You already got your scrums.
Yep.
All right. So this is America. I remember. Okay, I saw a post. I know we almost done, but I saw a post on Twitter where this guy complaining about the lines in Pittsburgh to go get free food.
Mm-hmm.
There was a there was this organization that was giving free food, and there was this helicopter, or I think it was a drone, that captured a huge line of people lining up to get food, and then someone had the fucking balls to say, "So this is what's gonna happen if Bernie Sanders becomes president." I was like, bro, it's happening right
No,
now
yeah,
while
like
Trump is
that,
fucking.
and that's the thing that pissed me off the most. It's like people keep talking about X, Y, Z, and it's just like, okay, cool. How's capitalism working for you right now? Is it giving you everything he said it was gonna give you? No. So what are you complaining about? Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. People was like, oh, but you got your own hands and fucking feet. Go out there and work.
Uh,
I was like, bro, we're in a pandemic. We can go out
Speaking of
and work.
that, it's the unemployment rate is expected to hit what 32%, which is the highest ever.
There you
And
go. What else do we have to complain about?
capitalism, great. It brings
Capitalism.
everyone out of poverty. It's crazy, man.
It just it doesn't make any
It really
sense.
doesn't.
But I think I mean, if we things continue like this, best believe that this is just gonna get fucking crazy because people are not gonna stand for it. People are gonna stand for it. Even if you have folks saying, "Oh, you should stand in line, do the right thing, and vote for the Democrats if you want this to change." Nah, because let's
Same.
say we
It's the
do
same.
change
It's
the
the same
Democrats,
problem, bro.
then we have to go battle the Democrats to get anything. You know what I mean?
I mean, you saw
We have
you
to
saw it now.
we have to
It's like
beg.
you saw it now. It's like nothing Joe Biden said. Even now, right? Even now, Joe Biden doesn't support Medicare for all. Even right now, that you don't even get free healthcare to get treated for the coronavirus. Not even for the fucking coronavirus. And this was something that was taken out by Democrats and Republicans, right? And it's just like they didn't even want to activate the Defense Authorization Act, I think it's called, where they can force companies to make equipment in a time of emergency. They didn't even want to do that, and because they keep saying socialism, socialism is bad, socialism is bad, socialism is bad. And it's just like you take a look at it. China is socialist, not really, but they're gonna say China is socialist, right? Mao, all that other BS. Guess what? When it came time to handle this virus, China handled it. The United States is capitalism, not really. It's corporatist, but people when it came time to handle this virus, who didn't handle it? The United States. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just like these guys are. This is what you see. What you have when you have capitalism, you see what you get. You get we have unfettered capitalism. I should say. You see what you get. You get incompetent leaders who all help their friends, don't know what they're doing, greedy, corrupt, all kinds of stuff, right? And even in a time of crisis, they're still trying to say, hey, go back to work. You had a senator, was it senator or governor, say, oh, make the sacrifice for your kids, go back to work. We know we have to make sacrifices. And just like, what are you saying? Like, what do you say? Like, you talk about the Congress is not going to be back in Washington until like the end of April. And they're trying to get average old people to go out there and work right now where they can't even work for like the next 3 weeks. It's crazy. These people are hella corrupt. And it's the craziest part is that they don't see it or they don't care enough to see it. That's crazy. I can't, it's difficult for me to wrap my head around.
I mean, we can't ask for more. The that what makes what we think that is, that makes no what we think that okay, what right now we're saying that we cannot believe because we cannot wrap our heads around the fact that people are so cruel or so full of shit. We have to come to our senses and understand that that's our reality. And if we don't do something about it, then we're just gonna go in cycles and
Not
cycles
only
until we
corrupt,
die.
but it's like this incompetent. Anyone with a brain will tell you if you want a strong economy, the people who circulate the money the most, aka most people, have to get more money because that's what the economy is. It's the circulation of money, right? Anyone with a brain in economics will tell you that is how it works. And even now, they're saying, hey, give more money to corporations. For what? So they can make what? Stuff that people can't buy? It was the same it's the same question. Like when you talk about artificial intelligence, right? Something I like to do in my spare time. People always say, oh, artificial intelligence will take everyone's job. I'm like, no, it's not. Why? Because no one has a job. Who are they going to use artificial intelligence for? To make a car no one's going to buy? Who no one can afford? What are you giving these companies money for? So they can make food no one can afford. Like it's like you see it all the time. It's like you go to any poor country, you'll find rich people out like in every country, but the people can't afford anything. So guess what? There's no businesses, or there's no good business. There's no big businesses that operate, locally because they can't afford anything, and so they stay poor. They can't if they can't buy anything, they can't hire people. They can't do all that stuff. It's ridiculous. Like, but like it's just that level of incompetence. It's like it's crazy. All that just to protect a couple $1 million that they have. It's crazy.
But it's some. I mean, that's why a movement like Bernie Sanders became so popular and it got fired so fast
Yep.
because there is problems in our economy, there is problems in our society, there is problems in our American culture. This individualism mentality has got us here.
Bro,
People
I don't
like
even think it's individualism because I think Americans appreciate. It's like I said. I think Americans appreciate a lot of things. I think Americans agree on a lot of things too. I think Americans by and large agree on most things. And I think Americans in general want that whole neighborly feel, look out for each other, blah blah. Except the racist ones, obviously. And it's like people want that, but you always have media and politicians going out there saying, "Well, these two groups of people they hate each other. They don't agree on anything." It's like, no, people agree on most things. Like even Republicans wanted healthcare, free healthcare. Democrats wanted free healthcare, right? Republicans wanted free healthcare. Independents wanted free healthcare. So what was the disagreement? Media. We can't afford that. No, they don't agree. They don't want free healthcare. Like no one wants that. Like yeah,
yeah.
no, everyone wanted it. It's you didn't want it. The politicians didn't want it because they would have to raise taxes on the rich, and they didn't want to do that. And so it's just like so you end up seeing this whole thing where it's just like you have essentially the ruling class making all this BS, muddying the water, and then turning around and saying, "Oh, isn't America so divided?" Like it's just like, no, you're divided because you want money, you want power. So you're gonna keep saying America's divided because you want to keep money and power. It's like I said 100 times before. Like if you go, like I think it was the second debate where Bernie Sanders finally called it out. He said, "You know, like they will tell you how much Medicare for all costs. Not once did they mention how much healthcare costs right now, which is more. Like you know what I'm saying? Like right, America, healthcare in this country right now costs about $40 trillion at the least, or at the most. Medicare for all will cost $39.5 trillion. So not only will more people be covered, right, but it's cheaper. And not a single person went out there and said healthcare right now costs $40 trillion. All of them will go out there and be like, "Hey, $37 trillion a year healthcare. How are we gonna pay for it?" No one said, "Hey, $40 trillion right now. How are we gonna continue to pay for it?" Not a single one, because they are fraud. That's the division right there. They lie to you. They leave things out, and they tell you it's your fault.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
The United States of America.
Yeah. All right. You got any last words, Ray? I'm already angry. I'm not saying anything else.
All I'm saying
Good
that
night,
to recognize.
everybody. No, I was kidding. No, as you're saying.
No, just bye.
All
Take
right.
care of yourself.
Yeah, stay inside. Really. Do it.